Hi guys, welcome back. So what can we say about this game? A fantastic game of rugby. France edge it 30 points to 27, but both sides can be proud of their effort, can take a lot from their effort into the World Cup. Scotland, of course, will be disappointed not to win because these are the games they need to win just to get out of their pool, with South Africa and Ireland in there, but still lots of great rugby. It looked like France might pull away in the second half, but Scotland hung on in there and nearly came back again. So just a brilliant game of rugby in contrast to the absolute dire show we had with England versus Wales. Just show how far above these two teams are, even though Wales, that's not their best team yet, but certainly that was England's best team, if you like, and it wasn't even close to this. That being said, let's get into the game. And also, if you haven't entered the giveaway for some custom rugby art like behind me here, or if you just want Finn Russell there, then do subscribe and click on that link below. I'm afraid it's only UK delivery, so if you're a French fan, it needs to be delivered in the UK. So straight into it, and Scotland just start how Scotland try and start, and that is box office, ball movement, side to side, and they nailed it from the start this time. Weren't good from the start last week, were here. And I always wrote in the third minute, already more ambition and quality handling from Scotland than in the whole of the England versus Wales game, which I thought was pretty funny. Anyway, it was really testing the French defence. 3 points on offer, but classic Scotland. They go for the corner. And a brilliant pass from Hugh Jones. It's a bit speculative, but it was penalty advantage. Bounces into the hands of Steyn for a decent finish. He's a big guy. Had a good game, actually, Steyn. He's not going to start because it's going to be Darcy Graham starting, but still a good try. France stunned 0-7. This is classic Scotland. Start fast, score early. But then a little unlucky when Schoeman gets isolated and France get a 3 points back, 3-7. And then on 8 minutes, maybe a good lesson for France. If you're going to play a team with two lightning quick flankers, maybe don't run it from deep, or just make sure that ruck is resourced, because Richie pilfers one here. Richie and Darch is such a good combo. If you're going to play a big number 8 that they did with Dempsey, you can just run straight. It allows these two to kind of do what they want. So Matt Fagerson's place is maybe under threat there for sure. So I like those two all game. So the stunning start from Scotland continues with that fast ruck ball, that ball movement, stressing the French defence, and it was a great workout for the French defence. It's just such a good preparation for the World Cup because not many teams are going to attack better than Scotland. It's over 10 minutes before France fire their first shot and they go back to their strong maul, which definitely helped them get going, but they don't get into any phase play, and it's Richie again with that steal, just on fire in the first bit of that match. So yeah, about 15 minutes have gone and France have been given the run around here. Scotland have all the options in attack, and you can tell the players aren't pre-planning. They're hitting short or going out the back or going wide just on what's in front of them. It's really good build-up. A shame here though that Richie Gray goes in the side and kills that good build-up there actually. So France keep it simple. They go to Wokey in the line-out, set up the powerful maul. It's working well. They're only friends so far. Get a penalty, go to the corner a couple of times, more of the same. Then they pull the variation, which is the way to do it, the front peel, but they fumble it. So that's a bit of a tough blow there because they did actually set that one up quite nicely. And I made a note here that the French crowd, the noise is amazing, and just the din that's going to be in that first Rugby World Cup opener versus New Zealand is just going to be fantastic. Don't miss that. Anyway, at the moment it's Scottish speed and skill versus French muscle. So 20 minutes in, muscle actually gets a bit of an upper hand with a scrum penalty, then back to the maul again. Basic phases from France trying to get into this game. The Scottish defence is desperate and swarming, but a bit too desperate, and maybe a yellow card is coming, but France don't keep the pressure on and just take the points because they have been under the pump a bit as well. So 6-10. But all that ambition is with Scotland. Kinghorn nearly breaks free, and you've got to say Kinghorn is a very able, if not as good or maybe even better replacement than Hogg. He's really showing his pace and his skills at fullback. Much better than playing him at 10 instead of Russell. That was a strange period there, wasn't it? Anyway, Scotland's strength can also be a double-edged sword though, as they do keep taking their chances even when attacking shape breaks down. So sides will always feel there's a chance, maybe an intercept, picking up a fumble, something like that. It just makes the game exciting to watch, but dangerous as well. Anyway, 27 minutes in, yes, it's all Scotland, but France are starting to keep their shape better in defence. Like I said, great workout for the French defence. And it's Dupont Often it's Dupont who always makes the difference. When France are on the back foot, he does something to get them going. This time it's just a really quick tap from a turnover penalty and catches Scotland in transition. Because they attack so fast and so wide, they're going to be spread out. So he spots that and goes again, and he forces the early tackle. I think it's from Price here. Classic Dupont, leads to a French penalty. They smell blood. They go for a scrum in front of the post this time rather than the points. Big chance versus 14 players, and goodness me, it's a textbook way of exploiting that space. Dupont just breaks off, holds the fringe defence. Dummy line, I think it's in from Fiku. Gives it out to Intermac, and they've got loads of options, and he just goes through the gap. Ruthless stuff when Scotland were on top, really, until that Dupont intervention. 13-10. I'm just making a note here that, my God, Dupont is good. Can kick off both feet, tackles, breaks. Just the best player in the world, certainly the best back in the world. Anyway, so just before half-time, Scotland are back on the attack, but the problem is Russell has to play 9 now, so they're not really going anywhere. It's a little bit of just hanging on for half-time, which they do. 13-10, a compelling game of high-speed, intense rugby. It's a shame it's not in the Rugby World Cup itself, because it would have been good for, say, a quarter-final. But after half-time, a massive 1-2 blow from France. Schoeman drops an exit carry, and France are just ruthless. Dupont is really working hard here, popping out of the ruck left and right, just draws the entire defence enough, and big runners come onto the ball, and then he darts back to the left, just creates just enough space for Pinot to burst through, the prolific try scorer. Good try and a great conversion from Deadeye Ramos, 20 points to 10, but then literally on the next play, Ramos takes a quick line out, doesn't look like anything's on, but of course Dupont goes one way, goes back to Ramos down the touchline. Great burst from Ramos. Infield to Olivon, who shows more pace than I thought he had, to gallop under the post. Just class from those 3 players. You know, I said in my discussion with Tim from Egg Chasers, if you have class players in your side, you don't always have to rely on shape. You can just do something from nothing. And that is a case in point. 27-10. Scotland, though, they don't fold. You know, they have to gather themselves, and make a note here. It's quite funny. The ball pops, and maybe Kinghorn deliberately pops it just to slow the game down. I'm joking, but you don't often see that. Anyway, it's a good point to mention here that this is perfect preparation for Scotland for that group of death. They're going to play teams like France. They're going to be in difficult situations, and they have to come back from it, and they do. But goodness me, Antoine Dupont is running the show at the moment. Great play here. 2 parallel lines coming from French forwards on the left. Surely they're going to crash into one of them, but he actually dummies left, goes right, throws a long pass over to Pinot on the right, and he nearly regathers his chip to score. Dupont is just irreplaceable. What a play. Now, in contrast to the first half, Scotland are being a little more predictable now. They're desperate to play the ball wide. They're playing the pull behind without threatening the short line. And France are swarming. They're spotting this. They know it's coming. They're coming up in the channels, forcing the mistakes. And Scotland needs to go back to the varied game, the power game, maybe the tactical kicking game, that sort of thing. I do feel sometimes they do overplay, especially in the middle of the park, but that's part of their brilliance, getting that mix right. Anyway, 61 minutes in, brilliant rugby from both sides. France are defending really well, but Scotland actually do send a few big runners into midfield before finally finding Hugh Jones for the decisive break, and a good finish for Van der Merwe in the corner, although he goes off. Don't think it's too serious, but again, a little worrying there. But they're back in it, 27-15. On 66 minutes, Scotland are edging a bit closer to the line, and Maclou gives away a bit of a daft ruck penalty, and Russell is absolutely on fire, spots it's a great opportunity for a tap penalty, taps and goes. The French defence is a little bit ill-prepared, and Darge just picks up and dots over. Great pace on that tap and go attack. 27-22, the game is back on. 10 minutes to go, of course, Scotland are searching for that winner. Audacious stuff. A chip from Russell, though, lets Villiers launch a scintillating counter-attack. Great to see Villiers back in the French squad. Looks like he's taken back his starting spot on the wing for me, and it looks like he's created a wonder try all by himself until the sub-fullback Ollie Smith comes on and absolutely ends him and dislodges the ball. Just an amazing game. You know, it's a shame it's not in the World Cup, like I said. And on 73 minutes, Scotland get the try they need. The good ball movement just opens a bit of space in behind for George Horne to grubber in, staying together at full pace. Good try, good finish, 27 all. Missed conversion by Russell, although it was tricky. And maybe the game deserved a draw. But unfortunately, Sutherland goes down in the scrum, gives away a penalty. France kick it to win 30 points to 27. So was it deserved for France? Maybe just, but goodness me, both sides played well. What a great contest. Both sides, I think, should be very happy with their performance. So much to take away from it and just shows how close these games are going to be against the top sides. Anyway, pop all those comments below about this game. Love to hear what you think, and I'll catch you next time.